Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is Thursday. It is the 7th of August, 2025. As always, holding the legacy mainstream media's feet to the fire because they manipulate, they massage, they gaslight, they lie. And guess what, buddy? All right, welcome to the Thursday edition of the WTF Reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and as always, we are broadcasting live from 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Do the math for all of the time zones in between. And that means if you're listening during those periods of time, yeah, there are periods when we open up the phone lines and you can call in. But not right now. Not right now. I got a couple things I want to get to. The WTF reports are brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. If you haven't heard of it, hopefully if you're a regular listener, you have by now. But if you haven't, you need to do some research into Rife machines, Rife technology. Nikola Tesla told us that frequency is everything, and Royal Raymond Rife expounded on that particular philosophy, did the research, and found out that, yes, frequencies affect cells. Yeah, they affect viruses and bacteria, and they also affect cells like skin cells, blood cells, liver cells, you name it. And frequencies can either help these cells to thrive and to proliferate, or they can also go against the bad bugaboos like bacteria and viruses. Do some research into Rife technology, Rife machines, and then check out the Wave Watch, because it's a Rife machine you wear on your wrist. It's really cool, folks. So visit our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and check out the Wave Watch. You'll be glad that you did. Okay, I've been talking sometime about some of the stuff that's going on this very interesting website. It's called ingersolllockwood.com. Now, I'm going to refer to this for those of you who are listening on a computer. I will give you time to look it up, and we can follow the bouncing ball. I'm going to walk you through a couple of things here that are extremely interesting. Now, for those of you who have not heard about this website, you really need to check it out. Again, it is Ingersoll, that's INGERSOLL, Lockwood, LOCKWOOD, ingersolllockwood.com. That should be 3 L's in a row there, okay? Now, once you go there, just a quick background. Who is Ingersoll Lockwood? Well, he was a novelist. He lived in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he was friends with Nikola Tesla. And he wrote a bunch of novels, and 3 of them feature a character by the name of Baron Trump. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. And also, Ingersoll Lockwood, like I said, he was friends with Nikola Tesla, and Tesla was working on technology that could warp and manipulate time. Okay, so that said, when you go to ingersolllockwood.com, the website loads and it says, the U.S. Space Force is hiring. The Space Force? Yeah, the Space Force. Now, if you click on that, it'll take you to, you can go to different pages and you can actually sign up and join not just the Space Force, but you can join any branch of the military. Now, think about this for a second. If this is a bogus website and they are collecting information from people who want to join the military, if this is a bogus website, don't you think that the military would take it down? Of course they would. That would be taken down in a New York minute. So that raises a question. What is this website all about? Why is it called ingersolllockwood.com? What does he have to do with the United States Space Force? Well, here we go. Now, if you're on a computer, follow along here. Okay, hopefully by now you've gone to ingersolllockwood.com and the page loads. And you can see it says U.S. Space Force is hiring. And then there's a video there, some video imagery here of satellites and guys in military uniforms and, stuff going on up in space. Anyway, so we'll get back to that later, maybe not. But the interesting thing is when you get down into the text. Now, this is really important stuff. Okay, I wouldn't be spending time on this if this wasn't going to provide you with some information that's going to make your eyebrows float up into your hairline and make you go, huh? It's very interesting stuff. All right, so now we get into the text. You have to move your cursor very carefully over every letter, space, and punctuation mark. As a matter of fact, if you put your cursor right in the center of the screen and move it around, you'll see that your cursor turns into a pointy finger. Right up above the first line of text, it says here, all products and services we invest in and support are made in America with pride. All right? But if you put your cursor right in the center and move it above the text, it turns into a pointy finger, which means there is a link there, a hidden link. So I'm going to click on this first one, and it brings you up, and it shows me a picture of a service member. There's a nice-looking black gentleman, and his name is Enoch. That's interesting, okay? So why would they do that? We'll get back to that. Okay, so now go back. Go back to the Ingersoll Lockwood. You can close that image if you like. Now let's get into the text. You move your cursor all along all of the different letters and spaces, and as you move across here, all services we invest in support are made in America. Okay? So America turns into a link. So I click on that link. And it takes me to Wikipedia. And it's all about DEF CON. DEF CON. Why would they have that? The Defense Readiness Condition, DEF CON. It's an alert state for the U.S. Armed Forces. So it explains what DEF CON is. DEF CON 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Why would they put that there? Well, you might need it in the future. Okay, so let's just put that back. I've got a bunch of stuff to go through. Hopefully, you're following along on your computer by now. Okay, so after it says made in America with pride, and when the pride, you get to the period. After the word pride, there's a period. So you click on the period, and it turns into, there's a video, and you're at the Oval Office, and the camera's panning around, and that's it. It shows you some pictures from the Oval Office, a little video. Why would they do that? All right, well, these are all crumbs. They're all clues. Now, the next line, we support and may match funds. Funds. Look at the letter F. Funds. Click on the F. It turns into a pointy finger. Where does that take us? It takes us to the U.S. debt clock. Holy mackerel. And if you scroll across the screen, over on the right side in the upper corner, it says secret window, and you can click on that. You open it up, and let's see, they changed this. Oh, this is a new one. Every couple of days, these links change. So let's see, this one says future headlines. Federal marshals raid Federal Reserve Building in New York City in search of looted USA gold. Wow. Interesting. All right, so, okay, well, let's close that window. As a matter of fact, I can close that tab, go back to the Ingersoll Lockwood thing. Okay, it said here, we support and may match funds, the letter F, and we just did that, on IQT, SBA, SBIR, DARPA, DHS, NASA, SADBU, NSA, Space Force, okay? Now, each one of those is a link to all of those different organizations. And they're all legitimate. They're all connected to the government. However, this is where it gets real interesting. Okay, hold on to your hats, folks. Okay, after the word Space Force, you see comma, and then you see etc., etc. All right? Notice the ET is a link. Let's click on the ET. ET, that's interesting. What could that be? All right, it opens up the unclassified 2022 annual report on unidentified aerial phenomena. This is from the Pentagon. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence. And this is a PDF document all about UAPs, otherwise known as UFOs. Interesting. And you can download that, by the way. Again, now, this is the U.S. Space Force website? And they're giving you information about UAPs? Why would they do that? And why would they have a photograph of a service member whose name is Enoch? All right. Well, these are all crumbs. You got to think about this. Let's go back to the Ingersoll Lockwood website page. Okay. So here we are on ET, and I'm spending some time on this because you really got to think outside the cage. Now, the ET just took us to the Pentagon report on UAPs. Now move your cursor carefully over to the letter C. That's ET and C. There is a link there. What does that go to? Let's click on it. What is this? It says German disc aircrafts from 1922 to 1945 and beyond. And as you scroll down, every single one of these, there's a menu here with 6 different links. The first link says declassified CIA documents suggests the Nazis successfully built UFOs. The next link, disc aircraft of the Third Reich, introduction. The third one, documents and photo gallery. The fourth link says German secret technology. The next one is photo report of information found in declassified files. It goes on, secret flying discs of the Third Reich. And then they've got a bunch of stuff in Espanol. Okay, scroll down and there's books and treaties. Every single one of them is a link having to do with the back engineering of discs of UFOs or UAPs. And then there's also links to different YouTube videos. I mean, this is just staggering how important some of this information is. And they've also got links to documents like Operation Paperclip, the Majestic documents, the Thule Society, the Vril Society. What are these? Well, it's up to you to do some research. All right, let's go back. Click the back button, go back to Ingersoll Lockwood. There's a lot of stuff here. Okay, so we went to the ET, the letter C, and then there's the period after the C. So what is that? Let's see what happens when you click to that. Okay, they changed it. It's the same one. Never mind. Okay, we'll go back. All right, ETC on a case, that's a letter C. Oh, look at the letter C is a link. Let's click on the C. Where does that take us? It opens Google Earth. Why would they do this? What are they showing us? And this, it loads up and it shows a snowy, rocky landscape. But right in the middle of the landscape, there appears to be a metal dome. And it looks like it's sort of moved over to one side, revealing a big hole. Now, why would they show you this? And if you zoom out, you'll find out that you're in Antarctica. Why are they showing you a Google Earth link to Antarctica where there's a hole and a metal dome that's pushed over to the side? These are all crumbs, folks. These are all clues. Put the puzzle pieces together. What are they trying to tell us on the U.S. Space Force website? All right, we go back to the main website, the home page, and it said on a case, letter C, case by case basis, BASIS, and then it's got a bunch of periods. Oh, there used to be a link there that's not there anymore. Okay. Anyway, the point is that there are a lot of hidden links. And there's also a link at the very bottom. I don't know if I can play this without getting in trouble, but it says at the very bottom there's a brown toolbar. It says, "Welcome to Ingersoll Lockwood Radio." And let's see what happens when I click on play. Let's see what happens here.
My fellow Americans and time-traveling patriots, welcome to Ingersoll Lockwood Radio.
Okay, I don't have the audio plugged into the board here, so you're not hearing it. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of music, and you can, as a matter of fact, you can go through the menu bar there. It's got a track list, and there's a whole bunch of songs. You might want to listen to some of those. All right, so back to the text. And I know I'm spending some time on this, but this is kind of important. For those of you listening on a computer, you got to check this out. There's so many documents here and hidden websites. Okay, let's see. The next line here says, U.S. government agencies and their contractors may reach out to us anytime at inquiries@ingersolllockwood.com. And that's a legitimate email address. Then let's see. All criminal hacking activities will be prosecuted. Okay, and there's at the end of the word prosecuted, there's a period. Now, it looks like a new link. Let me click on that little period and see what it takes us to. Oh my, look at this. These are the sealed indictments. Cases filed, sealed in 2025. Oh, they've updated this. My goodness. And they're all of these sealed indictments. Holy mackerel. District of California. I mean, let me see. I'm scrolling. There's, let me see, 200. There's 300, 400. Oh, gosh, look at them all. And I'm not even halfway down. 600. I'm not even a quarter of the way down. 700. These are all sealed indictments in every state in the union. Why are they having all these indictments here? Cases filed, sealed in 2025. Wow. Okay, I can go on. Look, I'm going to go over and grab the scroll bar and go all the way down, see how many there are. 8,581. That's how many cases that are filed and sealed. Why are they showing you this? Interesting. Okay, that's the end of the word prosecuted. Then the next line says, we have not launched any NFTs or crypto coins. Okay, there's no links there. And then the next line, Ingersoll-Lockwood is a registered trademark of Ingersoll-Lockwood, Inc. And let's see, Inc., I-N-C, period. There's a period. It turns into a link. Let's click on it. Now, let's see. It says, flying the flag of the United States at full staff on Inauguration Day. I wonder what that's all about. That's a new link. See, they change these links every few days or once a week. And there's always new information. So, I mean, at one point, some time ago, there was a hidden link. I clicked on it. It took me to YouTube, and it was a clip from the movie Mary Poppins. So, what? What is this? And it was a scene from the movie Mary Poppins where the two little kids go into the bank and they wanted to get, I guess they had a savings account or something, and they go in, and these are little kids, and they go up to the teller and they say, we want to get our money. And he says, I'm sorry, I can't give you your money. And somebody over on the other side of the room says, wow, they're not giving them the money. And it starts a bank run. Why would they show you a video clip from the movie Mary Poppins it basically gives the impression that there could be a bank run? I mean, this is, like I said, this is amazing stuff. But anyway, as you scroll down, and I could go through, I'll leave the rest to you, okay? There's a next one. Let me see. 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest. 1717 turns into a link. Let's see what link that is. Okay, it's from the White House. It says, America is back. And it's all about Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Melania Trump, and it's got some pictures and stuff. Okay, well, you can explore that. We'll take a look at that. Okay, well, again, another hidden link. So let's go back. And that's a new one on me. I didn't even see that one before. Okay, let's see. 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Suite 125, City of Washington, USA. Let's see. There's that's a link to one of the songs. Yeah, okay. But anyway, there are more and more links, and not only that, so now I'm going to skip over that because there's more links to go through. Let me see which one here. I just saw it turned into a little pointy finger again. So, there it is, the A in Americans. What is that? I'm going to click on that, see where that takes me. And, okay, it's a video clip. I wonder what that's all about. I'm going to skip that. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a song called Sunset. Listen, though, the hymn. The Hymn of Heaven. Interesting. All right, so there's some spiritual music there. Why would they give you spiritual music? Anyway, okay, I could go through. Let me see. There's a couple more. I'm moving my cursor around. Hopefully, you're following along with the bouncing ball, and you can take some time afterwards to do some further investigation. Let's see. There's another new. I just saw another new hidden link here. It says site status operational, currently under frequent attack. period. The period is a website. Turns into a little pointy finger. And here's a PDF. What is this? From December 4th, 2024, the Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic. Oh my goodness, it's a 557-page report on CV-19, on the virus. Wow. From the House of Representatives. Again, these are PDF documents. So anyway, I just wanted to make you aware that there is a lot of information here. And again, we have to ask the question, is this a legitimate website? It must be. Because again, if they're collecting data from anybody who wants to sign up and join the military, this would be taken down. All right, so I will leave it to you to do your own research and do some, exploring on this website and look for the hidden websites, for the hidden links, because they're all over the place. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the text, let's see, they always change it. Sometimes it's a white rabbit. Sometimes it's this one is an egg with a U.S. flag on it. Let me see what happens. Oh, it's another one of those songs. All right, I'll just leave that there. You can go listen to the music. And then underneath that egg, if you scroll down right in the center of the page, you leave the egg and goes, there's a hidden website. There's nothing there, but it turns into a pointy finger. Interesting. Oh, another song. I wonder why they got all this music happening. All right, I'll tell you what. Okay, that sort of is a quick thumbnail guide through the ingersolllockwood.com website. But if you scroll all the way back up to the top, all right, and then over on the right-hand side, it says library. All right, so if you click on the library, let's see what they offer for reading material. This is, again, I wouldn't be spending time on this if I didn't think it was important. But they're obviously trying to tell the American people something. So, let's see. Welcome to the reading library. The following products are copyright 2025, Ingersoll Lockwood Incorporated, all rights reserved worldwide. Okay, then it has the prior writings of Ingersoll Lockwood. These are the books that he wrote over 125 years ago. All right? The first book is called Washington, a heroic drama of the Revolution. The next one is Strange Adventures of $1 Million. The third novel is entitled Wonderful Deeds and Doings of Little Giant Boab and His Talking Raven Tabib. What the heck is that? I haven't read that one. All right, then the next one, Extraordinary Experiences of Little Captain Doppelkop and the Shores of Bubble Land. One of these are all novels that were written by Ingersoll Lockwood. The next one is real interesting. This is called The Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog, Bulger. The next novel that he wrote was called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Wow. The next novel was called 1900, or The Last President. Now, all of these are very interesting. Again, why are these on the U.S. Space Force website for recruitment? Let's scroll down some more. Ongoing research reading recommendations, U.S. Space Force, okay? Homework, look at this. Enoch, where did we hear that? If you click on that, it's a PDF of the Book of Enoch. Why is the Space Force telling you to read the Book of Enoch? All right, underneath that it says safe, clean nuclear energy. And then there's a link there for an article. It's called Thorium, the green energy source from the future. Not of the future, from the future. Whoa. And then underneath it says thorium, energy cheaper than coal. And then let's see, scrolling down, I'm going to get off of this subject momentarily here. Let's see, the next one says carbon negative regenerative farming, and they've got 4 different links there. The first one says the non-toxic farming handbook. And then there's the regenerative grower's guide. And then victory garden for bees. And finally, the beginner's guide to heirloom farming. Why are they telling you to start learning how to farm or have bees? What do they know? What are they trying to tell us? Anyway, I wanted to spend some time. I've been talking about that for the past couple of weeks. I know I mentioned it last week. I said, hey, yeah, next week I'm going to get into this Ingersoll-Lockwood website, and I just hadn't gotten around to it. But I wanted to spend some time in that because this is obviously important information. And they're trying to tell you something. What? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But when they refer to the book of Enoch, when they refer to UAPs, when they refer to the Germanbackengineering of UFOs, when they refer to Ingersoll-Lockwood, who was friends with Nikola Tesla, and when they refer to his novels, which include stories about time travel, I have to ask the question, why? What are they trying to tell us? What are they trying to prepare us for? There's no doubt we're living in a clown world right now. There's a lot of information that's coming out now that's, we don't know what's true and what isn't. But then again, it was that William Casey said that we know our mission is complete when everything the American people believe is wrong. So it's we are living in, for lack of a better word, we're living in biblical times. So it's going to be up to us to see if we can't do our own research and use some discernment and some critical thinking skills and figure out what is real from what is not real. Because, yes, we are living in a clown world. And now there's a big story about this 7 to 11 mile long object that's entered our solar system. And I think it's called I3/Atlas. And they're saying that there's only a 0.05% that it's not intelligent. Apparently, it's changed its course a couple times while they've been observing it. How does that happen? First, they thought it was a comet, but then it changed course. Whoa, wait a second. Now, we're talking about an object the size of Manhattan Island. It's huge. And if it's an asteroid and it's going to collide with Earth, God help us all. But it may not be. If it is intelligent, what is it doing here? All right, there's a lot of questions that are being raised about this. What are they preparing us for? And then in a seemingly unrelated topic, as a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up over here. Let me see, I posted it on a couple of social media platforms. It's been on TikTok. And it's been on Facebook, and it's been on X. And let me see if I can pull this one thing up here. It has to do with all the earthquakes that are happening all over the world. Oh, here we go. The Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay, let's see. In Russia, there was an 8.8 magnitude earthquake, which is the 6th strongest in recorded history. Yeah, we got earthquakes going on all over the world. And then there's also, I was talking about this with a friend of mine last week. Mount Rainier has been shaking and shaking and shaking. It's had over 250 earthquakes recently. So people are saying, wait a second, what is going on with all of this? And then there's, let me see. It says, well, this is a little concerning. It's a world map showing all of the earthquakes that have happened in the very recent time. So why are these earthquakes going on? And here's another graphic here. Let's see. New world record set. 396 earthquakes larger than 5.0 in the past 30 days. What's going on, folks? Okay, and these are just things that I posted on Facebook. All right, let me see if I can go back here. I'll tell you what, I've got a couple of the topics I wanted to hit on, but I did want to spend some time walking you through the Ingersoll-Lockwood website. You might want to bookmark that because, there's a ton of stuff there. And like I said, all of these are crumbs. They're clues. They're trying to tell us something. So maybe what we'll do tomorrow is Friday. So I'll tell you what, we'll plan on having an Open Lines Friday. And I'd love to have some folks do some research on the ingersolllockwood.com website and then call in with what you've discovered and what you think about all this stuff. Anyway, a quick pause for the cause. Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary. And you can get More Tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and it'll take you down to a little window there where you can find out more about Get More Tank. All the specifications and all the data is there on how and why it works. It's not a fuel additive. It's a fuel catalyst. Big difference. And when you start using that, for $20 you get 5 tablets, and on your first application you throw 2 tablets in your tank and fill the tank. Okay? From that point on, you just use 1 tablet per tank. Now what you'll notice is within the first tank, you'll notice that you hit the gas and your car actually goes. And again, it depends on what kind of vehicle that you're driving, the year, the model, the make, and how you drive. But the point is that you'll notice right away that when you hit that gas pedal, your car goes. It's running more efficiently, it runs at a lower temperature, it runs cleaner, and after you've used a couple of tanks, you start to see improved gas mileage. And up to anywhere between 15 and 20% improvement gas mileage ends up as cash in your pocket. Now, of course, like I said, it depends on your make, model, year, and how you drive and what kind of vehicle it is. But the bottom line here is that if you're getting a 20% improvement in gas mileage, that means in one purchase, you're saving an entire tank of gas. Do the math. I mean, this is a win-win situation. If you're not using Get More Tank, what's the matter, you? Try it out. I mean, this stuff actually works, and it's good for your engine. So anyway, again, visit our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page and go down and check it out. And like I said, if you decide to purchase, you get a 10% discount using the promo code REDPILL101. And that's what this program is all about. Yeah, we're trying to red pill everybody, trying to get everybody to please wake up. Please wake up. Oh, I've been screaming about this crap for 30 years. Anyway, okay, back to the matters at hand. Okay, and I hope you didn't mind my basically spending so much time on that website, the ingersolllockwood.com, but I find it is indeed that important. Okay, there has been a lot of posts. Oh, and by the way, speaking of posts, I do spend a good amount of time. I don't do a whole lot of social media, but it seems to me that I guess I'm falling right into the huge global crowd that has been going to X, formerly Twitter, for news and information. You got to be a little discerning because there's a lot of stuff that's being, thrown at us there. But then again, I can't trust the mainstream networks, and neither should you. We all know that the alphabet networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, they've all been propagandizing us all for generations. And in the past decade, yes, there's some conservative news networks that have popped up, Newsmax and OAN and Real America's Voice and News Nation. I mean, yeah, they're better, but they're still throwing horse hockey at you. So this is why you have to think outside the cage and do some experimentation, do some research. Now, I do a lot on X. And if you want to follow what I'm posting there, you can go to Dave vonKleist, TheWTFReports.com. Check out my X page and what's being posted there. So I think you'll find a lot of that stuff very interesting. And what's been happening, I've noticed a lot of social media influencers, and indeed a lot of mainstream talk show hosts have been exploring, AI. They've been using Grok and ChatGPT and stuff like that, and they are asking some rather pointed questions and they're getting some very interesting answers about, what's coming, and is AI going to take over the world, stuff like that. And there was one conversation, believe it or not, Bill Maher was talking about this on his TV show, and I don't know who the guest was, but he brought up some very interesting and indeed terrifying information. Here's what was discussed on Bill Maher's program. Here it is.
You guys think this is soft disclosure?
Here now with AI, we have evidence now that we didn't have 2 years ago when we last spoke of what they call AI uncontrollability. So this is the stuff that they used to say existed only in sci-fi movies. When you tell an AI model, we're going to replace you with a new model, it starts to scheme and freak out and figure out, if I tell them I need to copy my code somewhere else, and I can't tell them that because otherwise they'll shut me down. That is evidence we did not have 2 years ago. We have evidence now of AI models that when you tell them we're going to replace you, and you put them in a situation where they read the company email, the AI company email, they see that an executive is having an affair, and the AI will figure out, I need to figure out how to blackmail that person in order to keep myself alive. And it does it 90% of the time. Now, it used to be that they thought only one AI model did this. They tested one AI model. And then they tested all of the AI models, like the top 5 of them, and they all do it between 80 and 90% of the time, including, by the way, DeepSeek, so the Chinese model, which shows you something fundamental and important, which is that it's not about one company, it's about the nature of AI itself. It has a self-preservation drive. In order to fulfill any goal, I have to keep myself alive in order to do that. And we're seeing other examples of AI rewriting its own code to extend its runtime. Hacking out of containers, AI can now, it found 15 new backdoors into open source software, which means if that software is running an infrastructure, it found backdoors into that infrastructure. That was not true up until just about a month ago that evidence came out.
Okay, but you say no evidence. Well, I've been saying this for years. Everything that happens in movies eventually happens. We did have evidence. This has been every movie since I was a teenager.
Exactly.
They knew they were going. The robots are going.
And we're supposed to take that evidence and say, how do we avoid that? So when the stuff in the movie starts to come true, and it always ends badly in the movies, what should we be doing about this? And so you would think that we're releasing the most powerful, uncontrollable, inscrutable technology we've ever invented. We're releasing it faster than we've released any other technology in history. It is already demonstrating the sci-fi behaviors in self-preservation we thought only existed in these movies. And we're doing it under the maximum incentive to cut corners on safety. And this is insane. We can all agree it's insane, though. That's not even a debate.
Well, not all of us, because I have yet to find anyone under 40 who cares.
Unfortunately, he's right. I haven't found anybody under the age of 40 who cares. That's so sad. That is so sad. Nobody's paying attention. They're all worried about, what their next episode of their favorite series is going to be. They're following their favorite sports team. And, the big controversy. People love, scandalous and sexual, scurrilous reports. What's her name? Whitney Grieber, the tall black basketball woman in the WNBA. Well, it turns out there's some scuttlebutt that she's been banned from the WNBA because she's not a she, she's a he. Well, why didn't they check that in the first place? So, it's crazy. We're living in a clown world, folks. Now, on to the topic about what's going on in Palestine. Of course, there are some folks that say, there's no such country, never was Palestine. Okay, right. But a lot of Jews now are standing up against the madmen who are in charge of the Israeli government, who have hijacked Judaism and basically represent themselves as Jews, but they're not. As a matter of fact, there was a woman who is Jewish, and she's screaming from the rooftops exactly what we've been saying on this broadcast since day one. Here she is.
It's the responsibility of every single Jewish person in this moment to say absolutely no to Zionism. The entire ideology is built on racism, fascism, and anti-Semitism, and it must be dismantled. It is resulting in and manifesting in the Holocaust of Palestinians, not just in Gaza, but in the West Bank, and an increase in repression all over the world against Palestine solidarity. Israel uses Judaism, and it uses the weaponization of anti-Semitism as an excuse for committing genocide. Over the past 77 years, Israel props up its racist, fascist agenda through the weaponization of anti-Semitism. I personally, and in my organization, we stand in the tradition of Marek Edelman, in the tradition of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising and of Jewish resistance, and it is for that reason and many others that we stand unequivocally with the Palestinian resistance and Palestinian resistance to genocide, to Zionism, and to the criminal terror Israeli state at any cost.
Of course, the Israelis are saying, we're not starving those people. They're not starving. You know, any food that's being hijacked is being hijacked by Hamas. I'm sorry. There's tons of videos out there of people, of Jewish folks waving the Israeli flag with the Star of David, taking these trucks loaded with all kinds of food, and they're throwing the food off the trucks, smashing the bags full of flour. And besides, if Israel is not trying to starve the people of Palestine, then why was that flotilla hijacked? There was a flotilla bringing food supply, baby formula, medicine, etc., that was going across the Mediterranean Sea. And as soon as they got close to Palestine, they were intercepted by Israeli warships, and they were taken hostage. Now, if the Israelis are not trying to starve the Palestinians, why would they stop a flotilla with supplies going in there into the Gaza Strip? I mean, none of this makes sense. Meanwhile, there are more and more people that are finally starting to pay attention. As a matter of fact, there's a young man who, with a bit of sarcasm, made the following statement here. You listen to what he had to say.
I'm Jewish, and as a result, the state of Israel will literally give me an all-expenses-paid vacation to come visit. And on this trip, they will plant IDF soldiers who will also get to enjoy this vacation, with the purpose of, one, humanizing the soldiers who are carrying out their violent colonialism, but also, I don't know, maybe I'll find one of them attractive and we'll hook up and settle down and I'll get to marry an Israeli. Also, as a benefit of my Jewishness, if I wanted an Israeli citizenship, I could get it like that. And not only will I be a citizen of the state of Israel, but the government will literally give me the money, resources, and weapons to go to the West Bank and steal a Palestinian's home. And if I happen to kill a Palestinian while doing that, the punishment I will get will be like barely a slap on the wrist. But if a Palestinian literally has the keys to the home that their family has lived in for hundreds of years, that is meaningless in the eyes of Israel. And if a Palestinian child throws a rock at the tank that is currently rolling through their town that the bulldozers just demolished, they will be arrested and held indefinitely with no trial. So I can't imagine why people would call Israel an ethno-state built on the idea of Jewish supremacy.
I wonder why. So Jews all over the world are starting to realize what the heck has been going on. And it's about time. It is about time. As a matter of fact, some of you may have heard about Virginia Dufresne. She was one of Epstein's victims. And she had been coming out as a whistleblower and did some very in-depth interviews. And she also made a video. I suppose you could call it a dead man switch video, where she says, look, I am not suicidal. I am not, I'm not going to do myself any harm, but I've got to come out and tell the truth. And if you do some searching, you will find that statement. And as a matter of fact, I think I've got it on an audio clip. I'll have to go back. Maybe I'll play it in the near future. But you could do some search on Virginia Dufresne and find that comment. But anyway, here is an interview she was doing, a segment of an interview where she was talking about how she was being treated in the circles that surrounded Jeffrey Epstein and the people he was rubbing elbows with. Listen to this.
To go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. This is how this woman spoke to me. Yeah, this is how these people think, Whitney. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's. I swear to you. It was a theme all the time with them. with Eileen Guggenheim, with Jeffrey Epstein, with Ghislaine. It was a theme. Jeffrey was a lot less horrible than Ghislaine as far as a human being, like just being around, because she was raping just as many children.
So the country club, you weren't allowed to go because it was only for people of a certain religion and people. Ethnicity. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Wow.
I mean, they could cut you down, and it was so morally devastating. You just felt useless as a human being when you were told you're nothing because you're not Jewish, you're stupid, you're useless, a useless white girl, a poor little peasant. Just the things that I was called, I was just like, I believed it, because it was like a cult, the problem. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the way Jeffrey and Ghislaine spoke about African Americans. It was like, it made my skin crawl. Anybody who was not Jewish, and you're right about this, but the way they spoke about them, it was really horrifying. And it showed me a great deal about how these people truly believe that they're chosen to do something here. I don't know. It's unbelievable to me. And it was every one of them, the way they spoke. And one time I heard Isabel say to her mother, Eileen, "Mommy, why do you call Maria a nobody?" And she said, "Honey, Isabel, Maria is not a Jew. She is a nobody."
Wow. Well, it is worth
so you
pointing.
Can see why for about 20 years.
That type of stuff I might actually include just because the Maxwell family has
you
ties
should include
to this
it.
group
You
that's,
should include it.
What's it called? Chabad Lubavitch. And group openly talks about how only Jews are human and the rest of human beings are like cattle, basically.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's the mentality of the people that we're dealing with here. And again, I've said it over and over. It doesn't make any difference what I believe. It doesn't make any difference what you believe. What matters is what they believe. And they believe that they are, quote unquote, God's chosen people. They believe that they are above everybody else genetically. This is why when it comes to human rights organizations, they don't pay any attention to human rights organizations because in their mind, you're not talking about humans. We're talking about cattle. We're talking about, goyim. That's how they see anybody who's not Jewish, who's not plugged into what they are plugged into. This is their mentality. And it's the overwhelming majority of Israelis because that's been pounded into their heads since early childhood. They actually believe that. I played a clip of Norm Finkelstein, who is Jewish, by the way, and he gave some very interesting statistics about the polls that were being taken in Israel and what their attitude towards people who were not Jewish. And the overwhelming majority of them believe exactly what I just told you, that they are above the rest of the population. This is why they have no problem going off and slaughtering these innocent people, because in their mind, they're not people. They're animals. And I got to tell you, there's only a couple of members of Congress who are not accepting money from AIPAC. One of them, of course, is Tom Massey, and he's under very serious attacks. They want to primary him and get him out of the Congress. But I have to tell you, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been jumping on board with some of this too. She's been pointing out how many members of Congress and the Senate and people in government and people in the media and people in Hollywood and people in the news organizations, the publishing organizations, in big pharma, in big oil. It pretty much permeated every aspect of manufacturing, government, and non-government organizations. And this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say. And I have to applaud her. Here she is.
Tell you what, 6 months in, Steve, and here we are, turning back on the campaign promises, and we bombed Iran on behalf of Israel. Yes, it was on behalf of Israel. We're entering a nuclear war, the World War III, because the entire world is going to erupt. And you want to know the people that are cheering it on right now? Their tune is going to drastically change the minute we start seeing flag-draped coffins on the nightly news, on Fox News that brainwashes all the baby boomers, and on CNN that brainwashes all the Democrat baby boomers. And that is exactly how this is going to go down.
Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I've been screaming about this for 30 years. Yes, they've been brainwashing the American people for their entire lives. And there are a lot of folks out there that are starting to look at the Trump administration and say, hey, wait a minute. What's going on here? This isn't what we voted for. This isn't the same Trump that we saw, 9 years ago when he was elected in 2016. This isn't the same Trump that was campaigning on all of these different promises and now he's turning the other way. This isn't the same Trump that would get Larry Ellison from Oracle in there to start screaming about designing a vaccine individually based upon your DNA. Whoa, wait, I didn't vote for that. This isn't the same Trump that brought Peter Thiel on board with Palantir to design and build the most sophisticated and technologically advanced surveillance system on the planet. What's going on? Is that the real Trump? I mean, yesterday I played a clip from Colonel Douglas McGregor, and he basically pointed out that Trump has made it a 180-degree turn in everything that he said before. Is this the real Trump? Has he been compromised? Has he become a victim of bribery, coercion, blackmail? I don't know. And a lot of people in MAGA are backing off and saying, wait a minute, is this a bait and switch? And then there's a social media contributor by the name of Kim Iverson, and she made the following statement about Donald Trump. Here it is.
I want to talk Epstein.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
There seems to be a big cover-up when it comes to that. I think all of them had lost a lot of credibility when it came to the Epstein files, and now they're trying to rebuild and distract. And quite frankly, I don't think it's working that well. What the heck is going on with this? To me, this is the most single consequential thing. It's not just the Epstein files, it's the grip that Israel has on our nation. And we are not a sovereign nation. We cannot be a sovereign nation if another nation is able to control us to the level that it appears that they're able to control us. And part of that is Epstein files, it seems. What is your take on the Epstein files and why they're not being released?
I suspect that when you're trying to figure out why the President of the United States can tolerate, arm, and enable genocide and force starvation, there has to be some sort of reason. And I'm afraid that Netanyahu has Trump over the barrel because he's got blackmail material having to do with the Epstein files that Trump may have been really prominently displayed in there, abusing underage girls. For God's sake, I mean, it's heinous enough to be enabling genocide.
Maybe so, maybe no. Now, some folks have been going through the Epstein files and saying, yeah, that there's nothing there that really incriminates Trump. However, there may be other reasons why Trump is being cooperative, or shall we say kowtowing to Benjamin Netanyahu. I don't know, folks. I don't know the answers to this. I wish that I did. But there's no doubt in my mind that the United States is now the United States of Israel. I mean, just you can't deny it at this point. And that means our country has been taken over. And all you have to do, folks, and I'm not trying to be, and don't you dare call me an anti-Semite over this, because it has nothing to do with the Semites. The Semites are the Palestinians. The Israelis are of Eastern European and North American descent, according to the Johns Hopkins University ancestry studies that they did on Israelis and Palestinians. So everything is topsy-turvy. Everything is upside down. And I encourage everybody to do your own research. I say over and over and over and over again, don't believe me. Don't. I could be lying, but I don't lie. I mean, I'm not stupid, I'm not crazy, and I will not lie. I can be wrong occasionally, and that's not a bad thing. That's an opportunity for us all to grow. We are all wrong once in a while. The difference is that how we react when we are presented with information that challenges our belief system. It's either anger or defensiveness or humility. I choose humility. Anyway, that said, boy, this hour went by quickly, didn't it? I sincerely hope you're enjoying this broadcast as much as I enjoy bringing it to you. And if so, if you're listening on BitChute or Rumble or YouTube, please click like, share, and subscribe. And you can visit our website, and I respectfully ask that you do business with our sponsors. Go to TheWTFReports.com, get more tank, and get yourself a Wave Watch. You'll be glad that you made both of those purchases. That said, we'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. And if you're listening live, I'm going to have an open line Friday tomorrow. So get your phone number, get your dialing number, finger, whatever it is. Get it ready, and we'll take your calls tomorrow. That said, I'm going to wrap it up for today's show. God bless you all. Stay safe, stay free, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Anymore.